Sir, thank you for the entire session. This year has been very disturbing for me, but it's also kind of homecoming with the first structured Indic studies I've started with you. And congratulations on completing Geography of Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Yeah, actually, it is about Dr. David Frawley. So he's a very respected scholar, and he also endorsed my books, especially this the Rivers of Rigveda. He has also provided the endorsement. And yeah, I mean, 10,000. So I will just read a question. One of the lost passages of Indica, Megasthenes' travel diary on Bharata. He mentions about 153 unbroken lineages of Ikshvakus, which predate the Harappan timeline almost reaching 10,000 BC. Yeah, so 10,000 BC is not a problematic date because, as I mentioned, right, my date of the not only my date but geological date is 9,700 BC, right? 9,700 BC, the last ice age ended. So yeah, the lineage going up to 10,000 BC, of course, because Rigveda is recording only a short period of time from 3,300 BC onwards, up to 1900 BC. And whatever happened during 1900 BC and after 1900 BC for 1 century is recorded in Ramayana. And whatever happened after that for another century is recorded in the Mahabharata. So we ourselves say that so many part of the Bharata lineage, Ikshvaku lineage are beyond 3,300 BC. Now the variation of 10,000 BC versus whatever my data for 9,700 BC is not much great, or even 8,000 BC where I locate Manu. So there is a difference of 2,000 BC. I mean, a difference of 2,000 years, which are not very substantial. So for example, even if you multiply 153 into one generation is 25, you get 3,825 years. So if you means 153 kings will span 3,825 years, considering average generation gap of 25 years. So if you add the if you say predating Harappan means you can the mature Harappan period means 2,600 BC, but we will count it from 3,300 BC, which is early Harappan period. So if I just add 3,300 to it, I get a date of 7,125 BC. So it is all, see how it is actually now, if you have 153 unbroken lineage of Ikshvakos, which are predating early Ṛgvedic period itself, we reach 7,125 BC. So we are using the averaging of 25 years as our average generation between the son and father. And then you counted 153 generations. And still we are reaching 7,125 BC. So between this 7,000 BC to 10,000 BC, the variation is coming only because the value we are using. Instead of 25, if you use 35, you get a larger value. And all of these are estimations. So I don't really see any kind of big difference between whatever date proposed by Dr. David Frawley and whatever dates we are getting. Where somewhere Manu is around 8,000 BC. Manu is in around 8,000 BC means minus 25. You get the date for Ikshvaku. And the minus 10, the 25 generation can maybe have a variation between 25 and 35. Some people will take 25 as the average. Some others will take 35 as the average. I mean, maybe even for calculation sake, we can take 35 as the average. So 35 into 153 becomes 5,335. And then we add 3,300 BC to it. What we get is 8,655. So if you are taking the average generation gap as 35, the dating of Manu will be 8,660. Manu and Ikshvaku will be 8,665. You add a little more, maybe 10 more years, like you take 45 as average. It is very unnatural to take it. Because very, very unlikely that every father to son generation gap is 45. Very unlikely. I mean, it never happens because typically it is 25 is the average, because I've seen our historical generations of Nandas, Guptas, Mauryas, all the historical generation, the average comes to around 25 years. So if you are, for example, 45, which is extremely unnatural, 45 as the generation gap, multiplied by 153, you get 6,885 plus 3,300 BC. Yeah, then you get for 10,000 BC. So if your average generation gap is 45 years, and if you count 153 unbroken lineage of Ikshvakus, then Manu can be dated at 10,000 BC. But 45 is completely uh, means out of the healthy range. There will never be a lineage in which you have average generation gap as 45. 35 is reasonable, 25 is normal. So that is what I have to say about it. Yeah, I think this is I answered question of Sachit Hachinal. Sorry for my wrong pronunciation. So Sachit, I think you got the correct answer, right? And now Pratik Khanna is asking which tribes are part of the Panchajana tribes. What are the approximate years of Dasharajana and Varshagira battle? Yeah, very good question. So the Panchajana tribes are Yadu, Turvasu, then Anu, Grihyu, and Puru. Five different clans. Out of which Puru is our the clan which is the you can say native. I mean not native, but they stay put in India. Puru clan ruled in Haryana in the Vara Pratibhya, and then the Bharata lineage emerged from them. The Bharata split into three branches: Kushikas, that is Vishwamitra lineage, and then Tritsus that led to Panchalas. The Panchalas descended from the Tritsus, and the Samvarana Bharata lineage, who is represented in the Dasharajana battle as the Puru of the scornful speech, enemy of Sudas. And from Samvarana Bharata, we have that lineage gave rise to the Kuru lineage. The Kuru lineage gave rise to Pradeba, Shantanu, Vijitra Virya, then Pandu, Dhritarashtra, Pandavas, and Kauravas. So that is, and the Anava lineage, their descendants became the Avestan speakers and the Persian language speakers, and they adopted the Zoroastrian religion as an opposition to the Vedic religion. So whatever we call as Devas, they call as Devas, and they call them as demonic gods. Whatever we call as Asuras, they call us Ahuras, and considered as positive gods. So that split between the Ṛgveda and the Zoroastrian religion occurred. So because Anavas are like developed opposition to the Bharata lineage or the Puru Bharata lineage. But of course, there was alliances also, because of which Samvarana Bharata allied with this Kavi Chayamana. Both of them were considering Sudas as an enemy. All these things happened, and even in the Mahabharata also, you can Ramayana also can see marriage alliances are happening, right? Dasharaja married Kaikeyi, and Kaikeya basically is an Anava kingdom, and in the Mahabharata, the Dhritarashtra married Gandhari, again in Anava kingdom, and then Pandu married Madri, again Anava kingdom. So there was a marriage alliances between them. So the enmities are not very strong. I mean, not a continuing enmity, but a lot of friendships. Everything was there. Even Danava Maya gave. I mean, he built the city of Indra. This Maya Sabha for the Pandavas. So there was a lot of give and take between the Anavas, and of course you asked about the Panchajana. So Turvasa lineage got completely Turvasas blended with the Yadavas, and some part of them blended with the Anavas. So they went to westwards and southwards, and the Turvasas completely melted away into other lineages. And the Drihyu lineage, and I followed Talagiri. So the Drihyu lineage, their language become the ancestor to the Indo-European languages, the Celtic, Germanic, Slavic, Albanian, Greek language. There are 12 families of languages spread across all over the Europe. The ancestral language was spoken by the Drihyus. So that is about Drihyus. And approximate dates, Dasharajana battle around 3200 BC to in that 200 years, like between 3200 BC to 3000 BC. So more approximately, a little more accurately, it will coming around 3050 BC with a variation of 100 years plus or minus. That is the period of the Dasharajana battle. And surprisingly, and I am making it part of my book, Geography of Mahabharata, some of my colleagues date the Kurukshetra war in that same period. And it is strangely or surprisingly, that period is exactly what I get as the period for the Dasharajana battle. So then I have to say that maybe some mix-up has happened. Now sometimes maybe in our long history, some people got mistaking, the Dasharajana battle has got mistaken as the Kurukshetra war battle. Even earlier, I was refuting that, but by seeing this coincidence, I said there is a possibility. Some great battle occurred in 3000, like between 3200 and 3000 BC, approximately around 3050 BC plus or minus 100 years. That is the Dasharajana battle. And the Kurukshetra war happened in 1793 BC, based on the astronomical data. But some memory of an ancient battle which has occurred a few days, few years, few millennia ago, got mixed up with the Kurukshetra battle. And then some people are getting some dates for Kurukshetra war in that period, 3050 BC plus or minus 100. And our study about the evolution of chariots very clearly corroborate that the Dasharajana battle without a horse chariot, that was a horse chariot battle without horse chariots. And typically the draft animal was cattle, like bull, etc. That is why when the Vishwamitra was guiding an army of Sudas, crossing the Vibhas-Sudutri confluence, in that Sukta, he mentioned the place the river should not kill the Agnya. Agnya means another synonym for the cow or a bull. So that when the chariot moves, the river should not kill the cows. That is what Shamitra is pleading to the rivers. That means the chariot was driven by bull, cattle. It's not a horse chariot. And horse chariot became popular by after 2200 BC, and our date of 1793 BC, which is 300 years after 2200 BC, very well support. Very much backed by the archaeological evidence of the horse chariots, and that is what I want to say. Yeah, Varshagira battle and the Battle of Sarayu are middle Ṛgvedic battles. So it is after the Dasharajana battle, Dasharajana war. Exact dating we cannot say, but middle Ṛgvedic comes around 2600 BC, etc. So that will be the kind of date we can associate with the two battles, like Varshagira battle or the Sarayu battle of Sarayu. Between, maybe to be accurate, between 3000 BC and 2600 BC. That will be the 400 years of variability will be there in that two battles. After the right way to say is after the Dasharajana battle. Like if the Dasharajana battle is at 3050 BC, after that few centuries after the Dasharajana battle, so it could be 2600 BC or 2800 BC. In that period, there were two battles, Varshagira and Battle of Sarayu.
So thank you once again to our speaker. I think last 9 months has been a continuous journey for all the participants through the Ṛgvedic geography, through various rivers, through various deserts, through various locations, traveling through the various mandalas of Ṛgveda, and we have reached such a stage. And I am sure that this will not be a conclusion. Surely we will have further sessions, further meaningful discussions, dialogues, etc., between the participants and the students.